All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
Yeah, we can overdub it later. Just
I
Had any crazy stories about? Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
sleazy real estate guys, but all right, so another episode of the EP podcast here. As you can see, a little bit of a different setting, but definitely not a different guest. It is his second time in the EP podcast coming to talk to us about his upcoming fight in the end of September 28th, with Freedom Fighter Promotions, the one and only Brima Kamara. Brima, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Alhamdulillah, all praise be to the Most High. I'm happy to be here and to do this interview.
Yeah. So the first time around we did it was, you were actually our first interview of 2024. And now we're coming up on the fourth quarter of 2024, about almost close to closing out the year. So
I want to be the first and the best.
There you go. There you go. And what were your thoughts on the first go around that we had?
It was definitely a good time to get my feet wet. It's something I also want to talk about because a lot of people don't know, or maybe even overlook, is that when it comes to being a professional athlete and making a living off of being a professional athlete, personal branding and marketing and media is something that you can't overlook and underestimate when trying to grow your brand and further your career.
Right. And this episode is going to be a little different from the first one around, because typically when we have a guest on for the first time, we're talking about their journey and how they got to where they got to and where they would like to go. Since we had Brima already on, we're just going to go into dive in what's going on in his life currently and his upcoming fight. But before we do that, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on that notification bell so we can have guests like Brima on once again in the future. So Brima, let's start there. You were talking to me about personal branding and how important it is to your business. What exactly does that mean towards, like, for you, from not just being a fighter, also worrying to have to worry about yourself in terms of a businessman?
It's a lot of different things. We're getting into the what I will call the entrepreneur stage of our society. If things go well in the economy, or even if things go bad, and you have an entrepreneur, you have an entrepreneur. I think our millennial generation and below, they are really now starting to subscribe to like this escape, like 9 to 5, even though that's a healthy thing. And 9 to 5 came from entrepreneurs who were able to duplicate their systems to people in a very textbook turnkey fashion. And we have this age of self-awareness. We want to kind of break out of that and set our own schedule, set our own expectations, and be able to move through that. But that's also going to take people who are entrepreneurs who could show how to get that done, as opposed to getting cautionary advice to people to kind of not only learn from what works, but also build their own unique presence.
Do you think everybody could be an entrepreneur?
Yes and no, but not everybody has to be. Everybody just has to like contribute to society. That's what it is. We have this, fake thing we all depend on called money. You know what I mean? And we really all just depend on it, and to the point where like we have to make it a physical product. We do everything digital, like a video game.
Do you think everybody should be an entrepreneur?
I'm sorry, I had to skip over your question again.
No, you're fine. Because the first one was can, but whether or not you can, it's should you?
Should. That's kind of hard to say. Like, at the end of the day, human beings were hunters and gatherers, and you had to do what your tribe or kingdom required of you. Whether it being a blacksmith, whether it was whatever, but to some degree, you're still a hunter and gatherer. You're a hunter, regardless of how you want to see it, or gather. However kind of combination. So we have this new fancy term called entrepreneur.
Yeah. What do you think has?
It's like saying everybody get a job. Yes, you can get a job. It is okay to hold a 9 to 5 and that just be it. That's okay. If you want to be a roofer, or whatever kind of singular job, the rest of your life, that's fine. Like being a farmer, you don't have to be a farmer and a warrior sometimes, depending on your tribe. You can be one thing. You can also be multiple things. You could be a fisherman that also, trades in the market. There's, you're not, nobody has to put you in one box, and you can also stick to one thing.
What do you think has attributed to the rise in entrepreneurship in the younger ages? And the individuals who are younger.
I want to say like, both media and social media, but also like, we only been around for a short period of time, so like when America first started, it was a very entrepreneur, do for yourself, land, love, liberty, freedom. That's what America was built upon. at first. So you couldn't just go work at a McDonald's chain. You didn't have Amazon. You didn't have big conglomerates like Home Depot, like Ford. Was like the first one. Like Ford was generating that 9-to-5 stability, like that way we can understand the first company to do that, like worldwide. So we come in and out of phase. So that whole idea of working a 9-to-5 is kind of relative. It's actually 100% new.
Yeah.
Like even going back to like the Roman Empire, the Mali Empire, the Ottoman Empire, that's a new thing. Like you just got up as a man at dawn and worked.
Would you say COVID attributed to that?
Yeah, kind of, because it's like, well, you saw that like, you could work from home. Basically, like this system we had, it was like a factory herding mindset, was to like kind of set people like in similar, like put people on an assembly line sometimes, right? Yeah. And then they put you on an assembly line, but also sometimes in a cubicle where you can't always escape that. One of my favorite books was also 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
And you said, so this is like, COVID did attribute that, but there was a lot of people that kind of already knew that. Well before.
Let's dive into that 4-Hour Workweek. I haven't read the book, but I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
Do you really think to be a high level entrepreneur, a 4-hour workweek exists?
I think it's a little fictitious. Why would you want to do that? Why would you, Emilio, want to work at your job doing what you love for 4 hours? Would you have to do this like 4 hours a day at least, 7 days a week, or would you rather do this 4 hours a week and this? But this is you. You're good at what you do. I want to do kickboxing more than 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
I want to bring whatever matters to Brima at the highest level, whether it's fighting, coaching, gaming, teaching, mark, whatever, to running entrepreneurship at the highest level, not just, I want to live my life to the fullest, not just rest and watch somebody else kind of do it.
Yeah, so like I met this one guy, Patrick B. David. He lives over in Florida. He has the PBD podcast.
I love him. I read his book.
Yes,
so you can his podcast.
He's minority owner of the Yankees. He became that not too long ago, and he does have an entrepreneur podcast, PBD podcast. And one of the things he speaks about is that his dream life is where he has a portfolio of businesses that he could choose what day of the week he wants to work on which portfolio for like a certain amount of hour he could go to the next one. Is that kind of what you're referring to?
Yeah, that's kind of like what I did for most of the time I've been an entrepreneur. I was like a pizza boy for 9 years. I still deliveries now, because I had to survive. It's been a rough summer. I'm probably gonna talk about that. And, I was always happy to be that. And it's always like no matter what you do well, it's a really good pizza boy.
Yeah.
I've honed my driving skills to the max before I got in other kind of jobs. And,
do you think social media appropriately depicts what being an entrepreneur is really like?
Not at all, because it's not, you shouldn't put that into a box. You know what I mean? You don't have to, could prioritize any part of what you want to prioritize as an entrepreneur, because it's your thing. You got to do social media for you. Like, so I still own several businesses. Akita Gym is one. I'm still planning. I still have a clothing line online. Link MHG. Maybe you can put that in a thing. You guys.
Plug in all you want.
Yeah, I have a lot of things to plug in. Yeah. I had a car rental business. I was selling video games online. Getting back to that, to even make ends meet this summer, I was selling Pokemon cards, graded Pokemon cards, so I, and I was like telling people like years ago, like invest in Pokemon cards, you'll be rich. Bought some Pokemon cards, sold a few of them. You know what I mean? They appreciated 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So it's like, Bitcoin, what people want to.
So social media doesn't do a real doesn't do a good job at depicting what entrepreneurship is really like.
It can, but it gives you pieces of me, pieces of you, and you got to kind of find exactly what you want, what you want to follow. Yeah. Because most people give cautionary advice. I love your podcast because you guys give more step-by-step advice, whether it's Jim, whether it's another fighter, whether it was me. It's not like a lot of people, for example, let's say, don't rely on professional kickboxing to make your money. And they're very true at that. Yeah. But I found a way to work for me, and it brought me all my success. I was able to sustain a business by selling my experience. I have fought a lot of times. I have unique battle experience that people can get anywhere else. You want to get that experience, but other people have different kind of experiences, and they'll give you maybe hustle or mindset advice, but you really got to say how do I do a backflip? I'm not gonna say, well, maybe you shouldn't do it. I'm gonna say stretch first, start with this, and that's how we should give advice. But people will say don't sleep, don't masturbate, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I'm
sorry,
curious. No. I'm curious to know more about you know, because in my opinion, I don't think that social media does a good job of portraying what entrepreneurship really is, because they don't really display any of the hardships behind it. They only show, you know, I got the Urus now. You
Yeah.
know, I got the PJ, you know, whatever the case is.
Oh,
Like,
dude,
shit
man, I
like
was in
that.
the park, bro.
That's
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things like I will hide off of social media, but it's like, you know, when I got like I had to sell like to get my my business going. Like, I'm like, yo, we're in the park right
Absolutely.
now, and I got like maybe 12 clients out there in the park. She was there at the park. I met her at the park.
Uh-huh.
You know, so
So, hey, the park.
in the park.
You want to meet somebody,
Yeah.
go to the park.
The park, bro. Like, go outside. Get off your phone. It's okay. Like, we're all cyborgs now.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I had to be outside with it, and now we're inside with this here in the temporary location. Then
Yeah.
we're gonna go to a new location, Lord willing, and it could be next week. It could be in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So,
So let me ask you, how strong is pivoting as an entrepreneur?
it depends how your trust in God is sometimes, bro. Because you're gonna feel defeated sometimes. And you gotta just be like, you know, just pray and say, look, as long as I wake up tomorrow, then I got another chance. As long as I wake up tomorrow, I got another chance. And yeah, somebody really was able to show me that this seminar, and I appreciate that for her for that. And
Well,
yeah,
let me ask you
another
this. In these times of pivoting, you know, especially after just seeing how you reacted, how important is it to have someone by your side that you could look over?
it's
your
hard to
shoulder?
say. It's hard to say because in my mind, I would never want to give up. Like my ancestors worked too hard for me to be here. You know what I mean? They made it. They fought for my kingdoms back home. They, you know, died in slave ships. You know, for us to complain too much about mental health, and you know, you can have bad days and feel crappy about yourself, but it's like, yo, bro, like I could really be having it a lot worse right now. Like people in Gaza, it's like free Gaza. They have it worse right now. And the reality is, here in America, we're complacent, and they domesticated us, bro. The reason why, regardless of our wealth here in the United States, that we can't do nothing over there because we're too scared. Why are we too scared? Because the majority of us can't fight. We don't push ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason behind it.
So a couple questions there that you touched on. The mental health. One, do you believe it's a thing? And two, what does it mean to be domesticated as a human?
Well, yeah, well,
America.
mental health is there, and then, like, mental health is like the reason that I believe, and many people believe, that we have religion in the first place, because we believe that God's going to test you, test your sanity. And pretty much every story in scripture, and I mean literally quite every story in scripture is basically about somebody about lose his sanity, whether he had to, like, Musa, you guys call him Moses, he ran to the sea. You know, he got 100,000 people behind him. And then the Pharaoh and his gigantic army was about to go and kill him. They're like all yelling at Moses, like, yo, you idiot, this God that you believe in, you know, isn't real. And like, you brought us to this sea to die. So you either got to go drown or we got to go get slaughtered. I'd rather drown. You know, then the sea opened up. And he's like, what now? You guys suck, but come follow me. You know, and it's like,
Let me dive into that a little bit more. Tell me about your tough days. How do you mentally handle that?
pray. Pray. That's one thing. Just keep trying. Like it helped me, and I think prayer and belief helps me fight, helped me overcome my fears in lots of different kind of ways, and helped me keep going. And in reality, whether it was sooner or later, I always got what I prayed for. You know, to the solution where I kind of found out I just didn't pray enough and I didn't work hard enough. So,
and you mentioned earlier about that we've become domesticated here in the USA. What do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of things, like we watch a lot of movies and stuff like that, and but too many of us are afraid to fight. We don't want to fight when you have to, and that's good. But like, that's why I believe everyone, including her, should learn how to defend yourself, not to hurt other people, but to understand reality a little better. Some people, complain about their life, but they don't even have full control of their body. They can't move, they can't stretch, they don't do it enough. And like, it's not about proving you're a tough guy. It's being able to stand up for yourself. And also when it comes to being a fighter or training like a fighter, being able to mentally push yourself beyond when things hurt and when things get scary.
Yeah.
And that prepares you for all different kinds of facets in your life. We got to be brave.
And you're saying that the USA has kind of made us comfortable to the point where we completely oversee that.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get you canceled, but like, you might know that the Muslim community is, doing a lot of protests, but that's the best they can do. Because religiously, I'm speaking religion, and I'm, obviously the worst religious Muslim you can find. But religiously, like, if any kind of group is getting oppressed, it's the job of the Muslims to fix it. It's the job, the response to the religious. responsibility of the Muslims to protect an oppressed group. And, so the level of things that are going on in Gaza, we as American Muslims are actually required to really intervene. You know what I mean? And of course, we won't going to start those kind of civil war, some stuff like that. But the reality is just that we can't push and shove. The millennial generation, one of the mistakes there was everybody that came across on the boat was go to school, son, and be a doctor. And I'm trying to do maybe a racist Indian accent or something like that. You gotta get a good job. You gotta get your degree. And they speaking that for you. Maybe your parents are kind of like that. You gotta go to school. Go to school. Go get processed. And maybe you're a smart guy. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're an athlete. You work hard that way. Maybe you're not. But they all want to process you through school, get you used to that. And I do believe in authority. But
what do you mean by that?
Oh, because everybody needs authority and leadership. One of the problems in my life, I didn't establish enough authority and leadership. And I'm trying to learn as a man, as I'm growing older now, 33. I got 2 kids and stuff. And I need to do a better job in order to handle all those things. And I wasn't. I was too much of a kid. I never really grew up since I was 17. And
so for those that want to take that on earlier on in terms of being more self-conscious and becoming a leader and taking on the hard things, what is some of the things you would suggest?
You got to kind of, do that. I had the benefit of being in martial arts as a young kid, being a Boy Scouts as a young kid, having my father, I have a lot of benefits that most black men in America don't have. And I didn't really understand that till later. You know what I mean? Even just having my father in the home, my dad was this amazing, brolic black man. Maybe I can send you a picture depending on the podcast or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I remember he was 33. I just wanted to be this guy. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be this guy. He had the woman that was the most important woman in my life at the time, my mom. Yeah. That was his wife. Me and Chris still together, married. And he was muscular. He was, very handsome. I could tell that he was a handsome man. He was into cool stuff that I appreciated as a kid.
Yeah. So let's go into the more, because a lot of the things that we talk about here in the podcast is business, entrepreneurship, and their stories, and a lot of mindset stuff. But I want to dive into the more tangible stuff in terms of people listen, like you mentioned earlier, you listen into and something you can walk away with and apply yourself. And specifically with balancing multiple roles, right? You have a lot of responsibilities you have. How do you best go about managing those roles? What specific tools do you use?
I'm figuring it out. I'm always trying to learn, read a new book every day, test out new technology. I've gotten really good. I didn't even realize it. Throughout my employment history, was I got good at basically using AI. We rely on AI for a lot of different things now. Even as simple as a GPS is AI. Yeah. Calculators even.
Yeah. So tell me, what kind of AI are you currently using?
I use a lot because, for example, I have a processing AI for my business. It runs, it does billing. They'll maybe even send alert or text or whatever to customers, and I don't gotta keep track of my clients' billing when they just sign up, and then it takes care of it. That's AI. That's not something. That's not a human being manually charging, calling, collecting somebody. That's AI. When I was doing the renting cars on Turo, I'd have to talk to customers. AI found all the customers or helped the customers find me. Yeah. So when I sold products or video games on Amazon, to some guy in Albuquerque, I don't know who that guy is, but AI did that for me.
Yeah. So tell me about books. You mentioned books. What kind of books are you reading?
I read all kinds of books. On audio, I read a lot of business-oriented books. I could provide a list. I'm rereading one of the books.
Give me your top 3.
Top 3 books. Oh, that's hard because there's different categories.
All right, so
if it's business,
give me the top 3, and actually give me your top 1 in business.
But there's a problem. Yeah. See, in business, a lot of people there's different things you gotta know to be a good businessman, or find somebody else that knows. For example, sales. Yeah. So sales is a part of business. Just because you're the best salesman doesn't mean you're the best businessman. I'm a really good salesman. I can sell myself if I really have to. You have to be able to as much as I hate communicating with people, you have to be able to get that point across and close that deal. You got to be able to close. Yeah. You also got to be good at finding out an operating system. Somebody got to. There's probably got to be able to market. I know you're a good marketer. Even to get people on the podcast, you got to be able to sell yourself or sell your vision. Right. But at least I could tell you're a wonderful marketer as far as that. Or putting a logistic person, getting people together for an event in a better degree than I am. So there's different things you got to kind of learn. So if I just say what's your top 3?
I mean, if we both got in the ring, I couldn't market my way into the win there.
It doesn't matter. So you have some skills some inventory of skills that matter. People are overlooked. They might say like one day your thing is that was gonna sound a little sus. I was gonna say your podcast is big. Your podcast, maybe you know what I mean. So
I
my business
appreciate
though,
that, man.
but hopefully pray for both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Give me a good book on sales.
sales. So there's the Closer Survivor Guide by Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what to say. I forget the author. Now here's a book I haven't fully read because it's like, why are you repeating stuff you can just watch in the movies? That's nothing. You guys can watch a lot, can learn a lot from movies. And one of my probably the best sales movie of all time. And I do this all the time. Like, this goes in like 2 different things. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm hyperactive, but if you want like bag story, sometimes you gotta like what's Wolf of Wall Street, bro. Wolf of Wall Street. Like in the beginning of that movie, they like the guy says, look, your job is to call like 500 people before 12 o'clock. 500 people. When you do sales, you're gonna get rejected. Boom. You're gonna be like, hey, how are you? Click.
Yeah.
Some people are like, I'll get back to you. Don't get back to you. Somebody gonna say, I'll pay you next week. Never pay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that can become very discouraging very quick.
Absolutely.
And you gotta be able to get over those rejections and failures because eventually you're gonna hit a diamond.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it builds thick skin. It builds thick skin, especially when you're constantly hearing no.
But nobody hears that on social media.
No, but that's the
Jordan
thing.
Belfort
That's
talks
the
about
thing.
that. So I'm saying you gotta find somebody like that.
Yeah.
And I think most people like really one of the biggest dichotomies in entrepreneurship is like that scares people away is literally the sales.
Mm-hmm.
The sales calls.
Yeah.
Because like if you're good at doing that or find a way that can do that, or you got some kind of like, like I got like maybe some level of prestige, people kind of get referred to me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to start from scratch, like with no big social media presence, bro, you better get on that phone. I'm doing like emails and talking to people in person at bars, like broadcast my fight on the 28th.
Yeah.
So
you're only one man though, right?
Yeah.
How do you go about seeking help in your business?
I don't know because like I usually always assume somebody is as equipped as I am to do something.
Do you think that's a flaw?
Yes, must be a flaw, Like,
Or
but I won't get into both. But I'm bad at team building. I'm really bad at team building.
Okay.
Or I'm really bad at leading the team because like sometimes I'll expect something, thinking somebody else knows something, but we and him have 2 different lives, 2 different perspectives, so it just comes out wrong. And I didn't do a good job of communicating that to build that vision or that goal. Because I always like to just, skip the shortcut when it comes to communication.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to do, especially like finding people for any business you build. Because the right person can either build or break your business.
some people are good at that. Like you're much better at that than I am. Like off rip. Like that's what I said earlier.
I mean, I have no way of knowing that, but what I do find it's really hard keeping people interested in your vision, and at the same time encouraging them to see what you're seeing. Because one of the things as an entrepreneur is you got to see it before anyone else does, or before it even becomes an actual thing. But that's what we were talking about earlier is, we're the ones here on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
We're also talking about how eventually we become overnight successes, right? But they don't see these kind of things happening behind the scenes and stuff like that. But, in order to get the 1% perks, you can be like the 99%.
Yeah, but that's like the fun part, bro. Like in video games, like when you like are one to go the extra mile, the game's more rewarding.
Yeah.
But pretty much anything like you can apply. Even like when it comes to diet, like going the extra mile to like you maybe fast or just refrain from some kind of food or whatever, making it to the gym. Those things are like rewarding. Sometimes you got to reward yourself with that hard work.
Yeah.
And but it comes to being leader. Sometimes like you'll gather people that want to make it like an easy process.
So you reminded me of a couple things, and then you give me your reaction to them, your take on it. A strong body is a strong mind.
My reaction to that.
What are your thoughts on that saying?
Relative.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Because like again, like I have bad days. Like say if I got a fight coming up, or it's the day of the fight. If I feel bad, I got to fight. I had days where I felt just crappy as a person. You know what I mean? Like I didn't wake up, this is my day, but I still won. And days I felt invincible, still lost. So we have a saying, Islam Allahu Alam, like Allah knows best. So I try not to let I'm probably notorious for never being able to properly manage my ego, even though in my mind I think I do it. So like the mind can play tricks on you, bro. Can tell you like I'm invincible. You know, you might just
But you know, there has to be, for lack of a better terms, a little bit of crazy in you, generally speaking, to get to a certain level. Right? Because I mean, think of like all of the biggest, whether it be business owners or entrepreneurs or athletes, they have a little bit of crazy in them, right?
Oh, well, that's the thing. It's like, why are we expecting so less?
Mayweather was a fully functioning, you know,
but like his
good man.
That's nowadays in society, bro. If I said we the domesticated for most of human history, and even still to this day, you had to be your tribe had to be ready to box at any time.
Yeah,
the invading tribe came to enslave you at any time. That's 99.9% of human history, and we're here in America. You know what I mean? So like, if you're the strongest guy in the village might die first, and then it's the ball got passed to you. So if you can't score that basket, then it's like It's not that you're crazy, like yo, bro, like that's why I said like a lot of people give too much cautionary advice.
Yeah.
It's like
so. What exactly do you mean by that cautionary advice?
It's like your parents want you to succeed in whatever you're doing, but they probably say, "Yo, let's go to school, do this." And they say that because they're incompetent, honestly, of how to actually get it done.
So you're saying like they're always advising they're always playing a safe route.
I try to not put people in a box,
or
anything in a box. I you know, because I don't like people put me in a box, but it took me growing up to realize that a lot of people put me in a box that I allow myself to be in.
Yeah,
and in fighting, it's like that's why I said like business people, you sell your experience.
Yeah.
So like, that's why I'm fighting again, next weekend.
Yeah,
because I could sell that experience and either selling tickets by giving people the knowledge after the fact. So like, but if I teach you how to throw a jab this fast, I'm gonna teach you how to get that fast. I'm not gonna say, oh, you should do this or avoid this or why you want to box anyway. You're gonna get hurt.
Yeah,
people give cautionary advice. They want to put you in the box. And somebody told me a while ago, got somebody that loved me, I'm sure it cares me, said like, yo, bro, you should just stop fighting, just focus on the business.
Yeah,
but I'm not getting advice from somebody that can actually fight on my level or beyond. I'm getting cautionary advice.
Yeah. So you make sure you listen to people that are either an embodiment of what they're saying or are doing it at a level.
Yeah, I'm listening to Mayweather. You know what I mean? So like, I remember like people like when I was coming up in fighting, I would like they're niggas was hating on Mayweather. I'm not sure. Can I curse in this podcast?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Maybe I should. I'm trying to
We're
be
not mainstream media.
I'm trying to be like an example for the kids, even though I'm doing a horrible job right now. But like, and it was
that
just
cautionary
like
advice?
I cared about being a good fighter. Like that was awesome to me. But Mayweather was undefeated. That's which is also a problem because like he set this expectation, especially in the social media age, that you should strike it perfect every time. But he had to struggle a lot. And I understand that should have been obvious because he's a fighter, but because people are too scared to go to a gym or too scared to even get in the fight, like in Fight Club, they don't even understand. But like I'm thinking everybody like kind of been in a fight, everybody had to kind of defend themselves, everybody might have been bullied, whatever. That's normal to me.
Yeah.
But like I'm realizing as I grow older, it's like most y'all niggas even have been in the fight, bro. So it's like of course you don't get this shit, bro. Like so like you would hate on nigga like Mayweather who got like the cars, the girls, all that type of shit. And then you know what I mean? But like I just want to make sure I don't get my ass beat. You know what I mean? But the people even in my gym, not name but people like, oh Mayweather's asshole, whatever, brags, don't be like him.
Yeah.
But I was like, you lost, you're not this, you hate your life.
Yeah.
And this guy, do you know what I mean? He's black and he's cool and he's, being the system. Like,
has a perfect record.
It's really hard, not even the perfect record, but it's really hard to take your opinion over his because he obviously might just know a little bit more about this than you do. Like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, because he's I look at people who are I'm trying to get to where they're trying to get at. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I don't look behind. Like, and I think too many people want to do that.
Yeah.
Or discredit or give you cautionary advice. But it's like, even like when it came to Mayweather Midwork, like people were shitting on it back in the day.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah.
Like it don't work, whatever. But even to this day, most people don't understand it. They're trying to copy it now.
I think people love Mayweather now more than they love them.
Yeah, the shoulder roll was. They used to laugh at that. You say, "Oh, don't work," and then everything.
Yeah,
and it's ubiquitous in every combat sport right now.
Yeah,
because of Mayweather, the high guard, everything, and it's like, but people will be hating until it work, bro. And they don't even miss. But it's. And even Mexican fighters shoulder roll now. And that was like blasphemy for Hispanic fighters to shoulder roll.
Yeah.
It was like that's like you on that nigga shit. Literally, that's what it was.
So that made me want to dive into this. I'm glad you brought up Mexican fighter because tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, Monday the 16th, it's going to be Mexican Independence Day.
Yeah.
And yesterday was Canelo versus Berlanga.
That was great.
What were your thoughts on that fight?
That's why we should have fighting, bro, because like sometimes, like, how do I word this? I mean, like, none of us are racist. We're taught certain things, but sometimes You might not like somebody, and it might just be because they're Mexican that day, or they're white, or they're black. You know what I mean? You don't hate all black people. You might hate this guy. You know what I mean? You ever somebody did something to you wrong that he's the worst, whatever that demographic. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, we could just fight about it, bro. We can get in the ring and box this stuff out because, like, you know, there's that rivalry between Mexico and Puerto Rico. And it's all good, but it's like everybody's chilling. But it's like if Canelo got knocked out, it would have been like a riot, but it still would have been like all good. Like, unless if anybody else got a problem, there's the ring. There's the ring. And then
what were your thoughts on Berlanga's performance?
Everybody saw that coming, bro. Like Canelo is Blanca's not even a world champion. He's a popular Puerto Rican fighter, bro. Like, a lot of this is a social media shit. Like, I mean, he's a great fighter who was like knocking people out like in the first minute of like the first round, like for a while. But like there is like levels to this 12-round boxing shit. Like when you're a 12-round fighter that been in rounds with Canelo that been fighting at the highest tier for a while, like what were you expecting them to do? Like better than Charlo? He's not overrated. That was just like. It was cool though, like, you know, he had a background. So.
You brought up Mexican fighters, and you were talking about Mayweather earlier. How impactful was Mayweather's fight with Canelo at the age he was? Canelo,
very much, but like again, like, you don't have to be this whatever age to be as great as you want to be. A lot of fighters became great at a young age. Mayweather was already the best fighter in the world, in my opinion. Like it should have been clear at the same age, younger than Canelo. Like by the time Mayweather was won at a world championship at 21 years old, but most people ain't boxing fans like that. You should have saw like there's never been a nigga this good. If you go back to Mayweather Olympic days, he was still an amateur. Like there was like clearly there's never been a nigga this good. I was seeing the clip, bro. It's like nobody was like doing that shit. Like it was he should have been able to pick that and cash in like from back then, bro.
Is Canelo the face of boxing at the moment?
Pretty much, and it should be a shared realm. It should be a shared realm. It's like, for example, like it's like saying who's the face of rap. Sometimes it's Drake, sometimes it's Lil Baby, sometimes it's whoever. You know what I mean? J. Cole, my God, Kendrick, but whatever, or Kendrick. But like, okay, oh, don't get her started. Don't get her started on the Kendrick joint right now.
He has a one in the Super Bowl coming up. So,
but what about the last year? What about year before that? Niggas be hating, niggas be forgetting everything. And she was like saying something like that. She was like, y'all all you just riding that wave, and then Kendrick is a phenomenal artist, but you really y'all just riding that pipe right now. You know what I mean? Because
we're not trying to strike a chord here, you know?
Somebody successfully dissed Drake. That's really all it was. Niggas, no, y'all not messing with Kendrick. Y'all hating on Drake through Kendrick. That's what it is.
Okay.
That's really what it is. Niggas riding that wave. And Kendrick deserves his accolades, don't get me wrong, but niggas is hating on people just waiting for somebody to successfully diss Drake. And it's okay. Drake's still going to be Drake. You know?
Now let's step outside of the ring for a little bit here. And talk about finances as a professional fighter.
Let's go. This is a very interesting conversation.
What is that like?
Horrible.
Okay. Unpack that for us.
Let's start from, I need to find the footage or find somebody who can send it to me. So like, fun fact, before I turned professional, many people consider me the best amateur kickboxer in the United States of America.
Okay.
Because of my exploits as an amateur fighter, basically kind of paving that way, which a lot of fighters trying to do now, and then it hasn't been fully duplicated, I would say, even still. But and when I turned pro, like I got introduced in the ring, like as the most decorated like amateur like kickboxer in the country. How's it feel to turn pro?
Yeah.
You know, and I had like just got married like 2 weeks before that, whatever the case may be. I'm like, I fought like the story behind that fight's kind of crazy, honestly. Because some guy who wanted to fight me, and I said, "Don't fight me, bro. I'll whoop your ass." Like I could fight pricing. I should send you the conversation. It's
please.
That deep, bro.
Like
I gave this. I said, "Yo, don't turn pro. You're not ready. Like you're gonna get your ass beat, bro. Like you're not that good. You're not as good as you think you are, bro. Like you're not. Wait, just wait. I'm not trying to be a hater, bro." And guess who this nigga just gets into a fight with on his pro debut?
Oh man. Yeah.
And I said, nigga, I'm gonna make this painful and slow. Painful and slow. So I waited till like the last, like, I knocked him on the first round. Like I waited till like the very like last like 20 seconds to like knock him out.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to like stop himself getting knocked. I said, nah, bro, I'll make this long. Like I could end it early. And I'm like, after the fight's over, I took my mouthpiece and I looked at this car. I said, bro, why you let him do this? Because I knew this corner. I'm like, this nigga was not ready. Like, you just nigga to die for no reason.
Okay.
You know?
So, but tell me about the finances of it, all right?
Oh, dude, I got paid like less than $400, bro. I didn't know that. I'm like, and the worst part about it was the worst part about it was like I had to out of that $400, I had to like give my coach a cut for the fight. I had to pay for like medicals and stuff like that and like PA, which like cost a lot of that $400.
Yeah.
That I was getting. I didn't know I was getting. I didn't really read the contract. That's the thing, guys. Like, yeah, read your contracts early, bro. Like I didn't really. I love the kickbox. I would have done it for free, but like as opposed to like not losing money and fighting for free as an amateur, I lost money turning pro against a scrub, and I'm like, yo, what? So like I didn't like even like break even like as a professional kickboxer to like my first fight on Glory Kickboxing, which is the largest kickboxing platform in the world.
Yeah,
that's still to this day. And that was at Massacre Garden, bro. Like I had to take that fight on 2 days' notice. Literally, I had bronchitis. I said, "Fuck, I'm gonna do it anyway, bro." Like because it was my dream.
Yeah.
So it's like I died for this shit. And
is it how most to the naked eye that's not in the sport, and it seems like they get paid a ton of money? Is it really like that for majority?
Sometimes, but like for the rare percent, it's kind of like how you said. Like it's not like and like there's ways to make a full-time income before you even turn professional. But like I had nobody to teach me that.
Okay,
like selling your shirts, selling tickets, even the fights, like being able to market people to come to your fight and follow your journey as an amateur fighter. You can make money like a professional fighter. That's how Jake Paul skipped the line. Yeah. He had a name already, a following. All he had to do was pay for like some really good training, fight legitimate competition that people would be scared to do themselves and win. And he's at where he's at. And you as an amateur fighter, you watch this right now. Like you can be a Hollywood, you can be her. And you can make money like a professional fighter, like in a matter of fights as an amateur by like being able to tell people a good story, encourage people to come to your local fights, sell tickets, sell merchandise, sell how you got this good, like just be authentic. You can make some money. That's how I made my money.
So let's break it down with numbers here. How much of being a successful business fighter, the fighter that's also a businessman, is being a good fighter versus being a good businessman?
I don't know, because that's a weird question.
Like, is it like am I 20%? Do I only need to be 20% as good of a fighter and 80% of a good?
It's not like that. I would have measured like that at all. It depends on what you want. So one of my biggest neuroses as a person, I wanted to like kind of make my money through the ring. I was like fixated on that because nobody was there to tell me. Unfortunately, like I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus. Like the older generation, my coach didn't know how to really go about the professional game like Mayweather did and make money. So that's kind of like why people hate on people because he does this, he does that. You know what I mean? So like I like, especially when I became like a gym owner, like I immediately did better than my previous predecessor, and that was fine. I got into other revenue streams. So like, I was able to like within 6 months of owning Jax, I owned like 3 or 4 different businesses. I bought like my first couple of sports cars. It was, and I was up. But like to me, because I was also like on a losing streak in my fighting career. So like I went from like winning all the time to losing all the time. So now I have a losing record as a pro. So like none of that, like it mattered. It was cool. But like I wanted to earn my success in the ring, even though I was kind of already doing it. And I wanted to kind of be like Mayweather and win titles. And I still want to do that. That's why I'm still fighting now out of that passion. But really, it's like, it's okay to separate the two. It's okay to separate the two. So if you got the things that you want, whether it's, the Pokemon collection.
Let me ask you this. What's more important to you right now? Being a successful businessman or a successful
fighter? Easy. Okay. Easy. You know what I mean? Because being a successful fighter could kill a lot of birds with one stone where being a successful businessman can't. Okay. I could be a successful businessman and can't get in the ring and make my money that way and not be good, but that's not going to make me happy. I know what it's like. I probably talked about you in the last podcast. To make a lot of money, guys. I don't want to give figures out, but like, I know how it is to really like, drop a bag on shit. It's stuff that either both you want to spend and not like don't want to spend. And it's cool. You know what I mean? It's dope. But for what I want, like the stuff that really made me happier in life, like, don't give up your prayers. Like that's going to make you happy. Don't give up like, having a good diet, like having a lot of money in your account ain't going to like just make you happier than being healthy, having a good, making it to the gym every day. There's no amount of money you're going to be able to make and be in your account to be like, I'm going to be happy just chilling back, especially if you're a hustler. So,
so for the person that's on, let's say you had to start from square one.
I did.
So what would you tell someone else that's like maybe slightly younger, like maybe in the late teens, that wants to get into this and become that successful athlete and into a business?
Don't be afraid to fail. That's why you should get into fighting, bro, because a lot of people are afraid to fail in front of others. And I don't blame social media for that. I blame society because prior to social media, it was like that. We gave cautionary advice. We made it. We made some kind of system where we made it like it's not okay to fail in public. Like, people are afraid to go up and talk to that girl and get rejected or whatever. But we're afraid. It's okay to fail, get better, and improve. Do you still want to be? Do you want to be a better version of you tomorrow or the same version of you tomorrow?
Yeah.
Everybody gonna say better. So like, it's fail today, succeed tomorrow. So
okay. So, and you mentioned it. You said you had to start over, and you also mentioned earlier that you had, it's been a rough summer. So,
yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. That might also go into your whole. You mentioned Cobra Kai situation.
Yeah, you can just watch Cobra Kai basically. I mean,
know?
it's not the same exact thing, but it's very one-to-one. Especially the scene where like the gym got taken over. Like that could have been one-to-one. I might.
So you're, and you could tell me how much detail we could go into this, but when you say the gym got taken over, you're referring to where we initially had our first interview with you was Jack's kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
So what can you walk us into with that?
Oh, I mean, like, long story short, I guess, Jack wanted the gym back due to the circumstances that was like going on, and so did some other people from other gyms, and now it's theirs, and now it's their problem. So, I want to speak ill on somebody who can't just be here like to defend themselves, whatever, in the case may be. And also through that, I got other blessings. I got some clarity, and I kind of had to, refurbish myself, I guess. And I think God probably did this just so I could, reach those goals that I always wanted to actually get to in ways I couldn't understand because, I went through some crazy stuff, but usually after I went through that crazy whatever thing, like I came up major, and that's what you literally find in scripture. Like people go through this crazy situation that like they're dude, you're gonna die for sure.
Yeah,
and they come up major.
How do you when you're undergoing these kind of situations? I know you mentioned prayer, and that might be the sole answer, but for someone that's not as big on religion or prayer, I mean,
why complicate your life and get and have more answers? Like I tell her that all the time. She's like, "Could you explain this?" And I can, like, on a scientific level, I can explain a lot of stuff. I can be very articulate and sophisticated when I want to be. But it was like, I always send this like Spider-Man sheet where it's like, the guy says, I could use geothermodynamics to explain why the sun rises from east to west, but it's going to rise from the east because it's supposed to tomorrow. I got to explain to you the science. You just know it's supposed to do that. And that's kind of how a lot of things work. So either if all it is prayer and that's a single answer, it's like, well, bro, why stop you from making your life less complicated? Yeah. If you had to do one thing to be successful and all that had to be was prayer, I'm gonna cash it. I'm gonna cash that one. That's the easy way out of life, right?
You spoke about the rough summer and how you're coming up on the other side of it. And right now you're going through what's going to be your next fight.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the biggest fight of my life. Biggest fight thus far. The circumstances are weird. Training's been weird.
Yeah.
My life been weird. It's always been kind of weird though. So
what, how different is this fight for you than any other fight you've been in?
Well, people always get interviews like, oh, it's just the same fight, whatever. My fights are never like kind of the biggest in the ring. It's like the stuff that goes on before the fight is like more, fictitious and ridiculous in like a Rocky movie, especially when it comes to me. So it's like, I find some bag of rice from like Uzbekistan,
I'm assuming that's not his name. Bag of rice. Right?
But like, all right, so it's been gonna get even worse. And like all the rednecks watch me like, his name is Islam. Yeah, got like another Islam guy from Uzbekistan. Surprisingly, right? Yeah, like it's one of those guys with one of those names, like you know what I mean, from one of those stands.
Yeah.
That like, but there's a lot of guys like that. You like, for example, there's like some sponsorship from all these Uzbekistan fighters come to the United States and like I go and spar up in like Marquez and there's like a bunch of like Uzbekistani guys and like I get them confused with each other. All the time. Okay. Swear to God. Like, they're my Muslim brothers though. Like, it's all good, but it's like, I found out what Uzbekistan was when you found out what Uzbekistan was. You know what I mean? Or like, I saw it in school, but maybe like in person, like, oh, this is Uzbekistan in person. Like, so you're not an Arab. You're not a Pakistan. You're not a Chinese guy. You're one of them.
Yeah.
Who has to be from Uzbekistan. Oh, didn't know it was a difference. Now I know. But before I had no idea what Uzbekistan people were like, what they looked like, and I did not care. and I still don't.
You mentioned that everything with this camp so far has been weird. Well, let's dive into the training aspect of it. How has it been weird for you?
Well, I've been training at Jack's gym for like 16 years straight. That's kind of weird going into like a different kind of gym, and I'm very grateful to John of Knockout Boxing to be here and be able to train not only myself but my fighters here at the gym. But one of the things, like, when I became the owner of the gym, like, I didn't have a coach anymore, and I never really believed in really liked other people's doctrines when it came to training and their systems. It was just, I was probably way too critical of it. That's kind of how I am. Like, I don't like it because X, Y, Z. And I can explain that, and it's kind of hard to explain those kind of things without being disrespectful to your, coach or elders. But it's like, dude, I can show you why this is like,
Right.
Pretty easy. And that's kind of how I teach, by like leading and showing by example. It's like, you do this because of this, and I can show you why it works.
Yeah.
And I hate giving advice or asking people to do things that I can't easily do myself.
So a different setting, a different setting after training in there for 16 years. Is your training looking any different from what it typically is?
I mean, yes and no. It's kind of always different because of the circumstances I'm dealing with in life. Like, this is the most I've ever like sparred outside of my gym preparing for a fight. And maybe a good thing.
Is that
like,
something you're gonna look to implement in the future?
Dude, I kind of hate like getting to know new people for the most part. Like, I kind of have like a big enough, what I feel to me, like social circle that doesn't need any additions. So, and like a lot of niggas be hating nowadays, which is unfortunate. But it's like it's like society had came to a point where it's like, this don't speak for everybody. 'Cause I met some good people, especially in the fight community. That's why I like the fight community.
Yeah.
It's like you want to get with somebody. Just to see like we can get out of it, you know what I mean? And it's like not just to be like a good person or to be the best version of yourself, even in this, we had like that whole red pill rage age.
Oh yeah.
And it was like a lot of people were saying, it's like, yeah, like there's women are out here drawing, but sometimes we drawing too. It's like, I want to be good to like my woman because that's my woman, and that's, you know what I mean? Not just, and if it's something bad happening or in tomorrow or whatever, but you want to take the high road and do things right, want to, like, be thorough just because you are thorough, not because you want to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people sometimes just make alliances because they want to just get something out of it, and people just can't. And I don't like that. But, like, I mean, yeah, you want to be a meritocracy, but, like, here, I'm with you here because I want you to get something good out of it. You know what I mean? I don't want to just waste your time, bro.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure, by the way. It's always a pleasure.
It's cool. Like, yeah.
How's your mindset going into this fight?
Yeah, so it's good. Yes, I guess to answer the question is, I never really like to go outside of the gym because I like to fight people, bro. I was like, I want to kick your ass. I'm extremely cocky, probably worse than you see on whatever kind of media you see me for. I just got to kind of tame my ego.
Yeah.
When I go any place, and then so you probably want to like me anyway. You probably want to fight me. So it's like, yeah, don't get to know me, bro. You probably want to fight me.
Yeah.
Honestly. So, but it's like, look, we got the ring is right there. People like to pick on you or whatever. School. It's like, if I fight in school, I get in trouble. My parents take away my games. I lose. Even though I can win, it's like I always had something to lose. But it's like, we can get in there. We can run it. Whether it's Puerto Rico versus Mexico, we can run it.
Yeah.
Like we could actually run it. Do we not watch Dragon Ball Z? Like, it's a futuristic, like, technology and all that, and people still, like, throwing hands. Like, we should have figured that out by now. We have not, but, I'm trying. That's why I'm fighting, bro. Like, kickboxing exists, guys, here in Delaware. Come kickbox. Come learn how to fight. Come learn how to be awesome. You don't got to be the world's best fighter, but don't be like a little bitch. Don't be sitting at home. Don't be whatever, I don't know the reason why, but, like, and you could, and maybe not, like, awesome today, but that's fine. Like, the best part of anime is, like, episode 1 before it gets to whatever next glow up.
Yeah. So I have to ask you this question, especially with everything you got going on now. You last fought at Cage Fury. You didn't come out in the upside there. And then the time before that in Queens, unfortunately didn't come out on top there.
Yeah.
So how is this different this time around, especially with everything you got going on?
I always had a lot of stuff going on. If you saw
this time around?
If you saw the events that were going on outside of the ring, like even like at the freedom fighter one in New York, bro. Like
Yeah.
those 24 hours before and after, like, so imagine like I fight in the ring, bro. I get out the fight, and it's like I think like I'll have some of a day off, bro.
Yeah.
But they was like, yo, like my people, they were saying like we want to let you get past this fight, but like these niggas basically trying to do a hostile takeover of the gym. I said, what?
Yeah.
What? Like this is the first, not even the first time. They're like, what? Like,
Yeah.
but I just got done fighting for a fight. My girlfriend broke up with me that day. It was kind of sad. Like, you know, but you go through
long
stuff.
day.
So, like, it don't matter. Like, you know, you might not feel too good
Yeah.
when you fight, but you got to fight. But that's not an excuse. Like, I lost whatever. I lived to fight another day. Fighting is what I like to do. It was awesome. I'll do it again. I fought again. June 15th. Yeah, I thought I won. I definitely won off points. I'm sure when people go back and watch the fight and don't listen to the crowd go, oi, oi, oi. You know, I landed them at least 3-1. So, like, you know,
It's
even
like
the
a Muay Thai thing, right? It's just anything.
it's retarded. It's retarded. I'm gonna say it's retarded and it's stupid. And it's like, you know, like when it's like you should be able to clearly explain to somebody like in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why you won, and the reason why they won is because basically got the crowd reaction and they were kicking my arm.
Yeah.
So when just kicking somebody's arm is in the press where you win a fight.
I remember at one point. At one point you had slipped, and I think they could have sworn that you got knocked out.
It was a cheerleading contest. Muay Thai is a cheerleading contest, and I call them out on it. Like, but like I like being the villain. I like getting cheered against. You know,
so it's safe to say that you guys haven't met for coffee recently.
No, we met. Me and Jelani were chilling. We were cornering my fighter. He went. I love him. He called me the other day.
That's good.
I called him. I forgot I was fighting his teammate actually.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my guy. Like me and Jelani are kind of like this. Like Jelani, out of all the fight guys I met, he's probably the closest one. He called me like at least probably once a week, check on me.
Yeah.
We'll meet. Like, you know, he'll ask for advice. We've been through some stuff. Like, that's my guy. And it's always gonna be love, right? But like we can be rivals. We can be genuine rivals. I love him. I'll pray for him. But like when we have kids and all that, when we grow up, bro, we're gonna like that love's still gonna be there.
Yeah.
So right now he could be a rival.
What should we expect out of you this coming fight?
I want to show you guys the best version of Brima that you guys ever got to saw, because like there's been a lot of crazy stories nobody got to see, especially stuff that didn't get caught on footage and moves that I did. And I want to show people why you want to be a kickboxer. Mm-hmm. Being a kickboxer is awesome. Like, it's just, the grass is greener on that side, hands down. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're doing. Like, this is an empirical fact.
Is this fight going the distance?
It could, but like, it's okay for a fight. Like, a fight don't got to end early to show dominance. Like,
What do you want? What do you want?
I'm not even sure. I haven't thought too much about the fight. I just train. I show up. Like, you know what I mean? I don't need to think about it. Like, I never really thought too much. I don't know too much about the guy I'm fighting. Like,
Yeah.
I got other shit in my life to kind of fix. I gotta like work on getting a new location, running the business still, getting my life in order behind. You know,
Right.
I got a lot going on in my life to the point where it's like I look at getting that ring to kind of like take a break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and enjoy it. Like 5 rounds, just like ended it early is like ended it early on your wedding night, bro. Like why?
Yeah.
I waited for this moment.
Yeah.
I trained for this moment hours. You wanted to end it early?
Yeah.
Early?
Yeah.
Really?
So I guess it's safe to say that the fighting doesn't end for Brima just in the ring.
No, I'm gonna enjoy. I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
I want everybody else to have a good time too, watching.
Yeah.
So buy a ticket to my fight.
So do you have? Is it Islam? Islam, you said?
I guess.
Yeah. So do you have any words for your opponent? For your opponent, any words for your
Assalamu
opponent?
alaikum. I think he's Muslim.
Huh?
I said Assalamu alaikum. I believe he's Muslim. Like his name is Islam. So
Okay.
I got nothing bad to say about him, especially like, you know, I don't know nothing about him. I don't know anything about him. So like, other than the fact that he's some random guy. Like, I don't know what his birthday is. I don't know where he lives. I don't know how he got here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this guy really, like, at all. I don't know who he related to. I don't know who he fought last. He was supposed to fight one of the guys I was sparring with earlier, like Ryan Cafaro. He was going to corner me that night. But I don't know. He's training at Jelani's gym. And that's literally all I know about him to save my life.
So give us the specifics of the fights. When is it happening? Where is it happening? The time, and how can they buy tickets?
Powell Center, Hockessin, Delaware. You can buy tickets at akitajim.com, and you can get them from me too.
Where can people find you?
Brian Mees is pretty much everywhere in Akita Gym.
Brian, any last thoughts?
Not really.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's been Brima and Company. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the EP Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, she probably won't get out of here.
Turn on the notification bell and
This
share
guy
with
shut
your
up
friends.
already.
And until then, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.
She's hungry.